Hi. I just wanted to do a hopefully a short video. Excuse me. But sometimes when I say short, it might turn into something longer. Just wanted to say something too. These muscles here, I don't know if you can see this one goes sideways. I had from the stress related to my ex's suicide that he did in front of my son and I. I had Bell's palsy, and I've ended up with a situation where it didn't fully resolve, and so I have residual nerve damage to the seventh cranial nerve, and my eye doesn't make tears normally, and my jaw ended up lower, or like, I don't know if you can see, but it's hard to see. Here's the bottom of my earlobe here, and here's the bottom of my earlobe on this ear. You can see the difference. My finger's shaking. Okay. This side of my face fell by about a half an inch, and I have what it feels like a drum over my ear 24/7. So like as I'm talking right now, it sounds like a sound reverberating back into my head, and I've had it ever since the Bell's palsy was, I guess, trying to get better. That was in I think it was in I don't know, like May or June of 2023. So I'm almost coming up on 2 years I've been living with this. Sometimes when I go to brush my teeth, my jaw will get locked, and then I have this shooting, like electric pain feeling in my face. Anyway, I was going to try not to cry. I really try to be. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I really try to be, strong, and I try to ignore it. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't be here. Oddly enough, my mom, she went from doctor to doctor and ear person to ear person, and she always told people that she had Meniere's syndrome, and all she said she had, and it was making her kind of, like she'd say, I feel like I'm going crazy. She said she had a fullness, like a feeling of fullness in her ear, but she did get vertigo really bad. And I was a pharmacist at the time, and I was working every week. My schedule was different, like all the whole time I was a pharmacist, which a lot of people don't know. This is, I mean, unless you live in a state where your pharmacy is unionized, which I was a pharmacist in Florida, Tennessee, and Washington State. There was no union for us, so my schedule was different every week, and I worked every other weekend for 21 years. And then I worked as a technician in pharmacy for a couple of years before that. So, I mean, you're talking 24 years every other weekend. So it's really hard to have a life and even socialize or plan a vacation, or just having 2 weekends off a month, like for half your life or more, of your adult life. Anyway, but I would have to get up in the middle of the night while I was a pharmacist. I did this for years to take care of my mom. And if I was lucky, it was because I came home, because I worked till 11. And then if I was lucky, I had off the next morning. There were times that I came home at 11 and I had to be back at the hospital at 7 a.m. And I would be up with my mom, for like 2 hours while she was vomiting. And sometimes she'd have diarrhea, and I would have to help her get in the tub and wash her and stuff. I didn't know I was going to go in this direction on this talk, but What made it complicated for me was, although people looking from the outside, you know, what's again, let me get, I don't even know where I'm going. There's so many things I want to talk about. My sister lived in another state. My sister never helped my mother when she was sick. Now, years later, she would try to say in Tennessee when my mother was diagnosed with cancer that she helped her. Well, not while she was actually dying. She didn't, because I had to leave Florida and I had to go to Tennessee while I just found out I was pregnant. I was 40 years old, and I was not feeling well at all. And I was even spotting, so I thought I was having a fourth miscarriage, and nobody cared. And I drove by myself from Florida to Tennessee to take care of my mom, because my mom called me and said that my sister was not coming to help her. So I jumped in my car. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. Where was I going? Oh, but my mom too, what made it difficult for me, I loved my mom, but she did a lot of things. She chose men. My entire life, she chose men over me. She chose my brother over me a lot of times, to the point where, you know, I don't know. I'll get into that another time. I will say this. She made me where I ended up having this really false idea. She did it with her boyfriend, her soulmate, who was an alcoholic, and he also did heroin and pain pills and things like that. She made me feel, this was the ideas put in my head from really being a young child, and then with my sister too, was that human beings were put here to basically put our lives on hold, and your whole identity is, well, you don't have one. That's kind of what I thought. I was just this shell, and I was just put here to be used by other people to help them, because people with problems or drug addictions or alcohol addictions or whatever, and if people's lives are a mess, it's not their fault at all. Not at all. And you're to feel extremely sorry for them, not look at any reason where they might have responsibility for their own situation. Like, don't look at that at all. It's just, oh, that poor person. Oh my gosh. And you just put any logical thinking, just drop that at the door. And it's all about emotions and just feeling so sorry for the addict. And don't ever question if those addicts are harming the people that are trying to care for them. Like, let's say a little girl like me, I was the youngest kid in the family, and the fact that I would lay in my bed and I couldn't sleep at night, and I would just fervently pray to God and beg God, please help my family, please help my sissy, please help my mom's boyfriend, Bill. You know, as I got older, I even prayed for him. In jail, I hope he gets out. I hope because my mom would say, oh, I hope he's okay in there. He could get hurt in jail. People get killed in jail. He's gotten in fights. Oh, I'm so worried about him. Like, my whole world was just about worrying about, and then my mom would fight with her ex-husband, who I thought was my dad, and he made it clear that he hated her. And he would say really, really mean things about my mom, and I would have thoughts that maybe he would harm my mom. Like, maybe he hates her so much, maybe he would hurt my mommy. Because I had, one of my earliest memories was he was hitting her. And then she would say really mean things about him. And then I had to see her soulmate boyfriend when he got out of prison. He attacked John, who I thought was my dad, he was my dad to me, came to pick us up for the weekend, and my mom's boyfriend, Bill, was hiding and attacked John, and like with no warning, just knocked him on the ground and was like shoving his face in the sand, and I don't even know if he could breathe. And I was a little girl and I was watching this, and I literally thought, Bill is killing him. I mean, that's traumatic for a little kid. I literally thought I was witnessing a murder in front of my eyes. And here I thought Bill was a nice guy, which then Bill later would come into my room and touch me in inappropriate places. And that's a whole other story. So I tried to love these people in my life because I didn't have grandparents. I didn't have aunts and uncles. I didn't have anybody except my older sister, my older brother, which then my sister was sent away to another state to save her life when I was like probably 6. And then my mom and her boyfriend, Bill, her soulmate, and then John, and then he married a woman, so she was my stepmother, Rachel. That's a whole nother story. I don't even know where this phone call or this video started. See, now I'm starting to rock. Like, it's another thing I've started doing to like console myself. Like, I don't even know what I was going to start talking about, really. I'm blank now. I think I was going to start talking about trauma, narcissists, did I mention? I don't know. I think I'm going to stop it here. Oh, I know how that affects you. How, if you're a child and that's all you're around, and you're told, that is your role, that you're a human, and you don't think of yourself, you don't think of your own needs. You're to go out into the world, and you're to find people that have issues and problems and addictions, and then you're just like, how can I help? How can I help? Don't worry about me. And then the thought that a person might help you, like the thought that someone would ever ask me if I needed help was like, that was like speaking another language, like literally a foreign language. Like, what? Do I need help? No, that's for me. That's my job. I help. If I need help, that was such a foreign. It was like there's people to be helped, and then there's helpers, and there was like this line. I mean, I'm looking back, and I think in my mind and I was a helper. So no matter what happened to me, how horrible of a lot of things that happened to me, I never thought, okay, well, I need help. Is somebody going to help me? It never crossed my mind. Because from my earliest recollections of any experience I had in my life, I was always like rescuing my mom, helping, and worrying and crying about my older brother and sister and their problems, and Bill going to prison, and my sissy almost dying, and my mommy being depressed. There was no room, none. So this is the equation. This is where I'm getting to. This is the equation for a life of being a severe codependent, which a lot of people like to call us, or you'll call yourself, I'm an empath. No, normally there's not a lot of real true empaths out there. What you are is you were molded and you were, I can't think of the word. It's like when I can't think of the word. Okay. You were shaped to be a helper to everyone else. You're a codependent. You're a people pleaser. You're a doormat. I don't mean to be. You're nice. You're too nice. Too nice. You're never given an understanding of that human beings, it's supposed to be 50-50. You can help others, but then you should expect to receive help too. But in severe situations like with my upbringing, there was no understanding of that. It was all 100%. It was 100% like, I help. I don't get anything. And so I went out into the world, and you put off this energy, and you attract people who are takers, and they take from you. And then you start to feel like, well, that wasn't very nice. Why did my friend use me like that? I feel used. I feel like they hurt my feelings. And then you start to feel like you're crazy because you see other friendships where they don't hurt, and just it's a one-way street where they take and take and take, and the other person just gives and gives and gives. And so you start to go, is it me? And then you start to feel like you don't like yourself. That's the other sad part about it. It's a very dark place, because then you're like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? And then you don't like yourself. And then people pick up on that too. And inside, you really are just super kind-hearted, and you really just want to give love. But then people take it and they stomp on it over and over and over again. And then that good place in your heart, it starts to get dark, because you start to, the people that hurt you and betray you and take from you, they give that to you. You start to take on some of that darkness, because you can only, if you're human and you're not a robot, and they're trying to do that. They don't like your kindness. They hate it. They're jealous of it, because they know they don't have it. They know that they are very jealous people. They're very revengeful people. And they see that no matter how much they hurt you and betray you, you will still forgive them and be like, that's okay. I forgive you. And in their mind, they're like, how can this person be that kind? And they hate you for it, because they know they don't have that inside of them. They hate you for your kindness, but they'll keep taking. And then they're wanting to make you like them. They're like, I'll do something so heinous. These other people go, oh, she's so nice. I'll show them. I'll turn her into a monster. Because if she gets hurt enough, and she gets betrayed enough, she's going to get mad. And yeah, I mean, you can take the nicest cat or dog or Mother Teresa type person, and if you keep kicking them at their lowest point, as they're giving and giving, they're going to bite back. I mean, unless they've been lobotomized, they're going to finally go, okay, enough. Like, F off. Why? What are you doing? And they'll start to almost look crazy, because they'll finally stand up. And like in my case, I started like yelling and going, I'm going to fight back. Like, what is going on here? And I kept doing it, which was sad, because I just wanted these people, like, because I thought I loved them, because I would project something inside of me, which was kindness and forgiveness and love, onto these people, because they were in my life. And I thought, they truly can't be this mean. They just did that on accident. They didn't see. They couldn't have seen how mean that was. Like, I'm going to talk to them and convince them, and they'll eventually go, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But they wouldn't. So you keep hanging on because you invest more and more time with these people, or sometimes they're your family. And you keep thinking, they're going to get it. They're going to see how many years of investment I've put into them and how many times I was there for them. And they're going to get it. And then you get more invested and you spend more time. And then it still doesn't happen. And so then what they have inside of them, it starts to grow in you. And you start, instead of being this kind person, you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm so angry now. Like, I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm so mad. I just want these people to apologize, and you become overcome by it. It starts to take over your life to the point where, and then you can't really attract good people to be friends or good people to date because you're so overcome with the years of betrayal from people in your own family. And you're trying to reconcile those things, that when you meet good people, they feel this energy about you that you're just so conflicted, trying to understand the years and years of this weird stuff that's been going on. They feel it, and they're just like, wow, you feel so like you have a lot of drama and complicated, and you're so emotional, and it just turns them away. Like regular people that weren't raised around a lot of narcissists who betrayed them, they don't want anything to do with you. And so you just get isolated. And now I'm just I don't even know what to say. I'm going to just end it here. I wanted to talk about silent treatment. I'm going to talk about that next because that's a big thing. If anybody, I just want to say this as the last thing. If anybody that you come into contact, either as a friend or a dating person, if they act really, really nice at first, really nice, almost too nice, and then not too long into the relationship, they show signs of one little thing will happen, and then they ghost you. They give you kind of silent treatment, or even if you're in the same room with them, they just try to ignore you. I had a person that I kind of started dating, and I was speaking, and right in front of me, he started acting like he was just taking a nap and shutting his eyes. Sitting up, he just started going. And I said, oh, are you taking a nap? I'll leave. And he was like, oh no. Oh, I guess I was tired. What? That's a narcissist. They're playing a head game with you. While you're speaking, they're trying to tell you, you're so inconsequential to me. I'm going to shut my eyes and pretend like I'm sleeping to trigger you. I'm gaslighting you. That's what they do. So then they're going to try to upset you and go, wow, are you sleeping? To make you look crazy. Like, oh, are you starting an argument? I just dozed off on accident. This is the kind of stuff they do. Or they'll act very jealous. They'll take something you said, and then they'll start bringing up a person or something, and then they'll go, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. Those are signs. And run. Before you invest too much time or too much emotional time with your heart, run. Trust me. It will only get worse. That's where I wanted to go with that. So, silent treatment and signs of jealousy or vindictiveness, revenge. If they ever say anything about somebody they didn't like and they mention something that sounds like they like the thought of revenge, run. It's a bad person. It's a bad person. So I'm going to end it right there. Thanks for listening.